I want to use this cold open just to address that I know very little about the controversy that has arisen ever since this film's release. Apparently it's based on a true story and I had no idea. I went into this film just to judge it as a film with only having seen the first trailer. Just want to make that clear, and without any further ado, this is my review of Stillwater. Bill Baker is an American oil rig roughneck from Oklahoma who travels to Marseille to visit his estranged daughter, Allison, who is in prison for a murder she claims she did not commit. Confronted by the language barrier, cultural differences, and a very complicated legal system, Bill makes a new life for himself in France while he makes it his personal mission to exonerate his daughter. And before I start with my thoughts, I want to know if you have seen this film, if you know anything about the real-life controversy, because I had no idea this was a real story until after the film came out in the States, and still I stayed away because I wanted to check out this film as blindly as I could. I always thrive to do that with most films. So let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Start the conversation. It is always the most important part. And while you're down there, if this is the first video seen from me, thank you so much for clicking on the video. Why don't you consider clicking the subscribe button? It helps the channel a ton. It does wonders to put the content out there, and you'll always be aware of whenever there's more reviews. Stillwater is a 2-hour and 20-minute reminder of just how good Matt Damon is as an actor. He delivers an impeccable performance. I always like Matt Damon in movies. I think he's one of the most reliable actors working today, but this film is a constant reminder just of how good he can be. He delivers it on so many levels throughout this film because you see this man who's a roughneck seemingly inside and out, but you start to see that he's just as fragile, as vulnerable as any other human being. I think he's the biggest strength this film has going for it. In general, the performances are really strong. And someone that really surprised me because I just haven't seen this little girl act in anything. Lilo Siavod, I hope that's how we pronounce it. She plays this little girl who's helping Matt Damon out and who's part of the life he makes for himself in France. She is excellent in this film. She is sensational. She plays so much off of Matt Damon's performance. I truly believe he brought the best out in her, and obviously the direction from Tom McCarthy. He's really great at helming this film. I think he's a really solid director. He knows how to tell a story very well, get into the touchy subject very well and with the right sensibilities, and he showcases that in this film once again. And emotionally speaking, the thing that works best in this film really is this new family that Damon gets for himself in France with this single mother and this little girl that create a beautiful life together as he recovers from this trauma and tries his hardest to get his daughter out of jail. I think this family component really is what makes the film in part excel. Because apart from that, Stillwater is unfortunately a big mess. Throughout the entire first act, you feel like you're playing catch-up with this film. There's little to no information about what is going on. So if you happen to watch this film without having seen the trailers, without having read the synopsis, without having heard about the real-life story, which seemingly the film has nothing to do with it, you're completely blind. The film just starts with this man working, then eventually quickly goes to France. You don't know if this is the first time, if this is a routine that he does very often. You're constantly waiting on information to be fed to you, which it is in little sprinkles of dialogue that you certainly, I have to rethink the things I've watched up until this point because this crucial bit of information, which I didn't see up until now, was just told, someone talking to someone else. And it's frustrating to not know that, because those little pieces of information that are crucial knowledge for this story really feel like they should have been shown. You should have been there witnessing these moments, what brought this man to now go to France very routinely to visit his daughter and whatnot. The best part of this film really is the second act. It works in the most solid way. It flows much better than the first act. But then you come to the third act and it's wrap-up time. It feels like they forgot that they had a movie to make and they had no ending, and suddenly a lot of things happen at the same time and it's just confusing. The editing is atrocious in the third act. Not to say that the editing is stellar up until then, it's just well done, perfectly acceptable and functional. But in the third act, it's just a lot of things happening. There are some random ass scenes in this film that make no sense, add nothing because you have no context. Like, there's a scene in this film where you're following this one PI that Matt Damon has been talking to throughout the film, not giving anything away, and he's sitting at a dinner table with several other men, but you don't know who these guys are. You have no clue who they are, what they do, how they are related to this PI, and the scene just ends, and you have no new information. You win nothing in that scene. And the film has little sprinkles of random scenes like this that add nothing. They don't recontextualize anything in the film. It's just goddamn confusing. It just feels fundamentally broken and messy on a screenwriting level, and that obviously affects a lot of other elements of the film and of the story. From the first act not being able to capture the audience and just feel like a lot of pieces are missing from the puzzle, the second act works nice enough, but the film quickly deviates away from that in the third act, where it just explodes with a ton of stuff that come out of nowhere and resolve everything just too quickly, not letting you linger on just anything at all. Overall, I still think Stillwater is a perfectly watchable film. There's some really interesting writing choices, especially when it comes to the ending, that I'm like, not the route I would have gone in. That doesn't help the film whatsoever. But it boasts really strong performances, a really sweet and touching family dynamic, and again, there's just a constant reminder of how good Matt Damon is when it comes to his profession. I'm giving Stillwater a C. And so those are my thoughts on Stillwater. Again, I still think it's fine to watch, but wait till it comes on VOD or on a streaming service, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever you want. Throw all your thoughts down there. Let me know what you thought. If you liked it more than me, if you even disliked it more, all of that down there. Thank you so much for watching. You are the best. I'll be back very soon with many more reviews, and I hope to see you in those. My review for Marvel's What If, the first 3 episodes are already up. No spoilers, so you can watch it at ease. And tomorrow, we will have a spoiler review for the first episode when it comes out on Disney+. Thank you so much for watching. You are the best. And until the next one, love each other and love the movies.